Welcome, everyone, to the Secret of Oneness. I know that you all know me because we are one. For those of you who are still asleep, my name is Stephen, and tonight we're going to get into probably a three-part series because this is going to be called Infinite Identity Manifestation Part 1, and it's Unlock Your Divine Self. So, this first part is going to help you unlock who you are and see your true self as source. I'm going to do a chunk of verses and I have to do all of them because it's all one big piece and it shows the whole identity being unlocked. And so we're going to walk through that. And so for right now, let's start off with a quote by Neville Goddard. Hold fast to your ideal. Nothing can take it from you but your imagination. Don't think of your ideal, think from it. It is only the ideals from which you think that are ever realized. So, we're going to talk about Matthew 4, and I'm going to cover verses 1 and 2. But in this series, I'm going to cover 1 through 11. So, if you're interested in reading about it ahead of time, go read Matthew 4, 1 through 11. And it's going to be the part where Jesus is led into the wilderness to be tempted. And so, a lot of Christian people believe that Jesus went into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil and he fought this big spiritual battle and all this stuff and he conquered it at the end and the devil ran off. And so I'm going to walk you through this and I'm going to break this down into a way that you're going to realize it's just you. Okay? It was just Jesus and his carnal mind in a solitary place. And so many of you who have walked this path, I talked to somebody the other day and we were talking about what it takes to come to the point where you're teaching this type of material. And a lot of people can teach manifesting. They can read the Neville Goddard books and rattle off the law of assumption and tell you to reprogram your subconscious mind and all of that stuff. And that stuff works. But a lot of times what will happen is somebody's going to manifest a brand new car, but then they can't afford the insurance because they just manifested a car, but they don't know who they really are. They don't understand the power. They don't understand who they truly are and their real identity as the creator within. And that unlocks everything. And so we're going to kind of get into that and show you how this is how this breaks down. But the point is every person who teaches this stuff at a deeper level has gone through some very intense experiences to get to where they are. And I don't really think a lot of us really want to do this because there is a level of effort, there's a level of intensity that goes along with it. And really, what I'm trying to say is a lot of us are teaching this type of material, not only manifesting, but the deeper levels of scripture and the spiritual levels that are that deep because we have this knowing that we have to teach it. This comes from a deep desire within myself to train and wake people up because I know it's part of what I'm supposed to be doing. But to get to this point to do this, you're always going to go through some serious experiences that create isolation and all sorts of things. So, for those of you who teach this stuff and have gone through these types of things, I appreciate you. And so I hope that you get something out of this teaching because this is extremely powerful when you actually understand the context behind it and how it all fits together within manifestation and the spiritual realm and the level of deepness that goes into all of the spirituality. So let me help wake you up a little bit more tonight as we talk about Matthew 4. And the scripture is, then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. So a lot of people think that Jesus just wandered off into a field somewhere and sat down and then this devil showed up. But what it says here is was led up in the Greek. The word origin comes from two different words, and one of them's Anna and the other one is ago. And ana means up, amidst, repetition, or intensity. And 71, which is the second letter, ago, means to be, led, bring, or drive. So this is showing that this was an internal leading. This is not from the mind. He wasn't led by a thought, hey, I should go over here. This was something that he felt an intense drive to go do. And it's very interesting because as I was about to start recording, I reread this part, and it occurred to me that intense drive that you get, or that leading that you feel I should go do something, that's the same thing as inspired action that a lot of people think that they're going to do on their own. A lot of people think that inspired action is, oh, I should go text my SP because I feel like maybe that would help us work things out. That's not what that means. It's a leading, it's an intensity within yourself that you just know that you have to do this. So he was led by the Spirit, and that's that. When it says led by the Spirit, it's because he was led from the inside. His mind did not think that up, and so the wilderness in Greek is 2048, and properly it means uncultivated, unpopulated place. It's a desolate, deserted area. And figuratively, it means a barren, solitary place that also provides needed quiet, which means freedom from disturbance. So he felt led within himself. He had this intense drive to go into the solitary place, into this barren, solitary place, free from any disturbances. And it says to be tempted. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting, because in Greek 3985, that's the word tempted, but it's from the word test or trial. And originally to test or to try, which was its usual meaning in the ancient Greek. But the word origin means trial. And from the base of this word called paran, it means through the idea of piercing. A test, attempt, or experience, a saying, or a trial. So this is talking about to be tempted. It's just not going, when you're on a diet and you go through the kitchen and you look at the piece of cake and you go, oh, this is really tempting to eat. This is talking about something that's a piercing experience. And it's testing him. It's testing his identity of who is he, who he is. Okay, it's an experience of a piercing or a trial. Now, it says that he was tempted by the devil. Now, that's not a spiritual red man with horns and a tail and a pitchfork. We're going to get into this here. So the devil is Greek 1228, and it's a diabolos, and it's from the word 1225 diabolo. And diabolo means to slander, accuse, or defame. And properly, it's a slanderer, a false accuser, unjustly criticizing to hurt or malign and condemn to sever a relationship. So the devil is coming to sever a relationship. Okay? That's a whole nother teaching, but let's just go with this. So the original word is the word reported, 1225. It's actually the word reported, and it means to throw across back and forth, either with rocks or words, with slander, gossip, and it's only used in Luke 16:1. And if you go down into the description of this video, I have a link in there where it says devil, and there's a link to a website called Christ Words, and the content there is going to, if you want to read about the devil or Satan or devil or demons or whatever in the original Greek context, you can click that link, and the guy there explains like a huge level of detail. It's amazing. But let's get back to this. So the devil, the word origin, diabolo, it means to throw across back and forth. Now, if you remember In James 1:6, it says, "But he must ask in faith without doubting, for the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind." So the devil comes to slander you, to falsely accuse you, and unjustly, unwarranted, criticizing to hurt and malign you, to sever a relationship. And it causes you to go back and forth as if you're being pelted by rocks. So I need you to get that, because this is huge when you understand the devil is just not an entity that's coming to like tell you bad things. This is coming to sever relationships. It's coming to misalign you, unjustly criticize you, and gossip you. Now, as we go on, I'm going to kind of give you some more context around this, because the word implies malice, even if the thing said is true. So even if it's true, it's done in a malice. I mean, you can just look on the news or anybody who's playing professional sports. There's always somebody out there to malign that person, even if they get a DUI or they get some sort of a charge against them. And all of a sudden, there's all these people reporting all the truth just to malign them. It sells papers, it sells news. It's what the media does. It's no longer the truth, even though it is the truth. Sometimes it's there for the wrong purpose. So 1228, the diabolos, the slanderer. This is very interesting. It says, is the same root, and it is used even of women. Sorry, ladies. It's referring to she-devils. Okay? The slanderer it's even used towards women. It's called she-devils. And it's in 1 Timothy 3:11. And that scripture says, women must likewise be dignified, not malicious gossips, but temperate, faithful in all things. So I want to focus on what the point of this is where it's talking about a malicious gossip. Okay? So the devil has come to him in his solitary place where he's felt led to go. And he's being pierced with experiences, and he's being maligned, malicious gossip, slander. He's being falsely accused. Why are you out in the desert? You're not supposed to be here. You don't belong here. Who do you think you are? Like, it's very, very difficult in his mind to combat that. But here's what's interesting. He was going to face himself, much like a lot of you are. When you are trying to manifest, and I don't want to say try to manifest, but when a lot of us are here to kind of understand our identity so that we can live a life of abundance, and we want to understand how our identity produces this. But in the process, it says here that he's going to face himself. Everything in him was about to be questioned and challenged. So this man named Jesus is out there in this solitary place where he felt led, and his mind is accusing him. Well, when you were a kid, you did this, and when you talked to this person, you said that, and who do you think you are? You think you're the Son of God? You think you're the Christ? Are you kidding me? And I'm going to get into some other scriptures, in part 2 and part 3, where it talks about, questioning him and daring him to do things to prove it. And it's very interesting because he doesn't ever have to prove it, and he never does. And that's going to go through the whole identity part here when I go through all three parts here. But what I want to focus on is understanding that when you are in your true place, you're going to be maligned. You're going to be gossiped about. There's going to be malicious things said about you. And I'm not talking about other people. It's going to be within yourself. It's going to be within your own mind. It's the devil in between your ears. It's going to tell you, who do you think you are? And this is why you have to know your identity. This is why you have to know who you are. Because then you can stand there and say, I know who I am. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. I know that this belongs to me. Maybe you have a sickness or a disease that's life-threatening, and you have to stand there and face that. Who do you think you are? You can't heal yourself. Who do you think you are? You're not. I mean, look, you've been divorced 3 times. You got 3 kids out of wedlock, you've been to jail, like you've got DUI, all these things. Who do you think you are? You think God's going to heal you? Like all of those things are maliciously aligned and trying to malign you. It's trying to sever the relationship between you and source, telling you you're not source. You're this carnal person. You're the carnal man. It's trying to sever that relationship between you and the divine. But if you know who you are and you know your identity, you cannot be moved. Man, I hope you get that, because that's right there alone. It's worth the price of admission. So let's go into verse 2. And after he had fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, he then became hungry. Now, this is a very cool scripture. It seems very uneventful, but it's extraordinarily powerful when you understand what 40 means and why it says he then became hungry. I once was in a church service one time where the pastor was reading the scripture and he actually said, he became hungry. And then he said, well, I don't know why they wrote that in there. I don't see the reason for that being in there. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you why it's written in there. It's context. This shows and proves to you that Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and he was maligned and he was slandered. And then he became hungry. The hungry means that he was in a physical body. This was not some spiritual vision or anything like that. This was a physical man in isolation, in a deserted place, being slandered. He hadn't eaten for 40 days and 40 nights, and he became hungry because he was carnal. Jesus had a carnal physical body, he had a carnal mind, but he wasn't carnally minded. Did you get that? Jesus had a carnal mind, but he was not carnally minded. That's how you need to be. That's the identity that you need to be. You need not be carnally minded. You need to be spiritually minded. So let's move on to where it says that he had fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Now I'm going to talk about 40, what that means. And this is actually, again, go into the description, read this out, because I have the actual Hebrew letter and all that good stuff down here that you can read about. But 40 in Greek, it's 5062, and it says sometimes with added symbolic sense. It means a full testing period. That is the full time of a crisis. Didn't we just talk about him being challenged in an isolated place? It's the full time of a crisis needed to successfully pass through to know God's approval. So the word 40, it's not really representing actual 40 days. It's not what it means. It's symbolic. It means that it was a full testing period. Now in the Hebrew, the Hebrew number 40 in Hebrew is the letter mem. And again, that's in the description below. You can go down and look at it, or you can look up the Hebrew word mem. But it means water. How does that have anything to do with a full testing period? Because the word water, the word mem is the word water, number 40, and it symbolizes the fountain of the divine wisdom, representing both waters and manifestation. It is the ability to deep dive it is the ability to dive deep into the wisdom. It is said that in every person is the thirst for the words of the Creator, which are the waters of life. So remember, we talked about that he was led. He had this intense drive to go into that solitary, unpopulated, deserted, desolate place where it's barren, away from any disturbances, right? It is said that in every person is the thirst for the words of the Creator, which are the waters of life. So when you have it says the waters and manifestation, it is the ability, it gives you the ability to dive deep into that wisdom, and that wisdom is within you. It's a thirst for the words of the Creator. So how many of you have that thirst to know yourself as source, that have that divine desire to know who you truly are as source? Or do you just want to manifest a car, then not be able to pay for the gas or the insurance, or maybe you manifest winning a house, but you can't afford the light bill? You got to know your identity. You got to know who you are. What is the concept of 40? The concept of 40 represents a metamorphosis and transformation. That's part of the word mem. And this is where it gets really interesting. This is why when it talks about it symbolizes the fountain of divine wisdom. The fountain, it talks about water. The mem also represents the womb. In essence, water is the womb of creation. Remember the amniotic fluid that the baby's in. It's the water is the womb of creation. After 40 days, the embryo of a child begins to assume a recognizable form. That's creation. One of the names of God, and it looks like it says Makom, Makom. Now this is really cool, which literally means place. And this is gonna kind of wrap into the whole identity and manifesting thing, and understanding that you are all that is. If you've ever heard that saying that you are all that is, that means that you are all possibilities because you are source. And this is where it gets interesting. It says one of the names of God is Makom, which literally means place. This name expresses that the presence of God exists in every place. This represents divine omnipresence. Both open and closed mem are in God's name. So when you read the Hebrew, the word, the letter mem basically kind of looks like this. And then there's one that's open on the bottom and there's one that's closed on the bottom. And they mean two different things. But both of those are in the name of God. The womb of creation, the essence, the divine wisdom, the fountain, right? The waters of life. And God's name has both of those letters, the open and closed. So I want you to understand how incredibly important he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, but he went into that solitary place for a full testing period. The full testing period, just like a baby goes from the 40 weeks, right? When the child is born, it goes through the whole testing period so that it can breathe when it comes out, so that its heart will work when it comes out. So for those who go into the wilderness, you're going to be in there for the full testing period. And when you come out, you're going to know your identity. You're going to know that you're source, and you're going to know who you are. Now, let's get into the word day. The word day, because it says 40 days. And initially, I kind of skipped over this because I didn't think it was important, but it is actually important because I'm going to show you what the word day means. It means, the word origin is actually two words. And one of them is hour and steadfast. And it means, the second word means to sit. But let's look at the whole word. So the whole word for hour, Hour, hour and steadfast are put together. So hour is 5610, and it says properly an hour. Figuratively, it's a finite season, limited time or opportunity to reach a goal, fulfill a purpose, a divinely preset time period, a limited period to accomplish the Lord's specific purpose, the hour in which specific characteristics prevail, the hour in which specific characteristics prevail, exactly like that for a limited time. So you got to get this. It's talking about that the day or the hour means it's a limited time to reach the full potential, to reach the full purpose. It's a divinely set time. And the second part of the word, steadfast, means it's derived from an adjective, a seat or base. Properly, it means to sit solidly based, well seated. Figuratively, it means steadfast, firm, morally fixed, firm in purpose or mind, well stationed, securely positioned, not giving to fluctuation or moving off course. Remember the devil and the moving back and forth. This allows you to not give to fluctuation or moving off course. So when he was in the womb of creation, for a divinely preset time, he was not moving off course. So the 40 days and 40 nights, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about that he was in the divine wisdom. He was in the creator, the womb of creation, the waters of life. He was in that for a divinely set time, morally fixed, firm in purpose or mind. He was firmly fixed in his mind. Securely positioned, not given to the fluctuation. So he was not being moved by the circumstance. So what is it in your life right now? Maybe maybe that you have rent due. Maybe you have an SP that is saying they're going to get married. Maybe you have a health condition that the doctor said is very negative, right? Can you stand in the womb of the Creator for a divinely preset time, securely positioned, not moving off course, not giving into the circumstance? Can you be still and know that I am God? Can you? See, this is what we're talking about. This isn't just a Bible lesson. This isn't just like a teaching about scripture. This is giving you an identity. This should pierce through you. You need to know who you are. And even if you're not manifesting certain things, to go through life, to have a job and have a boss and have to pay bills and do all of these things, when you do it from being source and knowing your identity, it's a much easier and peaceful experience because you're fulfilled. This is an identity of fulfillment. It's who you are. So you can go through life scrambling. How am I going to pay for this? What do I need to do for that? What if she runs away? What if, my child goes off course? All those things. Or you can be like, hey, I know. I'm not moving off of what I know. So I'm trying to shape you into who you are and not be distracted. So here's the part where it says he was hungry. In Greek 3983, it means famished. So again, why is this in scripture? It just proves that he was in a physical body. He did all of this stuff, all the stuff I just talked to you about in a physical body. He was our example. He was demonstrating how to combat the devil, which Christians think again is, a devil outside and all this crazy stuff. But now you know that the devil is within you. It's your mind. It's the part that condemns you. It's the adversary. Let's go back and look at it. It's the tempter. It's one that tests you. It's a piercing experience. Oh my goodness, what if this happens? Are you going to be swayed? Is it going to be like being pelted with rocks, being thrown back and forth? Or can you step into your divinity and know, I'm not moving? I'm not moving. Because you've been transformed. There's a metamorphosis that has taken place in you. You know your identity. You're not moving. So let's wrap this up. I have here, after a divinely set time of being morally fixed and the full testing period of transformation and metamorphosis, washed in the waters of divine wisdom in the womb of creation, he was famished. This is the identity that manifests. That's the one that manifests. It's not the human character that manifests. The human character can't manifest. In fact, the human character is a manifestation. I'll get into that in a second. This is the identity that manifests, that creates reality. The carnal, the devil, the mind are all stumbling blocks that create limitations. Get this. You have always been source. You've always been source. You've just put on the character with limitations. You've put the character on and said, this is who I am. My name is Jim. I'm Stacy. I'm Heather. I'm Jennifer. I'm Mark. I'm Stephen. That's not you. That's the human character that's experiencing all of these things. The human character is the one that goes into the wilderness and gets tempted and is severed and is trying to be severed from the relationship of you being source. And in fact, Jesus, the character Jesus, was just a manifestation. Are you watching this? You are just a manifestation of your own consciousness. Your physical body is a manifestation. It's not you. It's not the true you. The true you has manifested the physical body and all of the experiences that you're having. This is the identity that manifests. It's the pure consciousness behind it all. And that is why Jesus went into the wilderness and he was tempted by the devil, because he knew who he was. And if he didn't know going in, he knew when he came out, because he was pierced, he was tempted, he was accused, he was maligned. And he went through the entire full testing period for the 40 days. And he came out transformed. He went through metamorphosis. He became a new person. He became God. He became Christ. Now, he was already Christ, but he became it in his own knowledge and understanding and identity. So this is the identity that manifests. It's the source behind it all. The carnal, the devil, the mind are all stumbling blocks that create limitations. The devil, the carnal, the mind, the flesh create the circumstances. They create the problems. They don't create the solution, because you are the solution. You have always been source. You've just put on the character with limitations. So be still and know. Be still and know. Be still and know that this is the identity that manifests it all.